A handler is someone who's assigned to you, whose task is to know about your ins and outs, your whereabouts, and to keep you as offbeat and out of alignment and from your path as possible. They are there to keep you stuck. They are there to keep you slow. They are there to keep you distracted. They are there to stop you and prevent you from ever starting. Some know who they are and what they're doing, and some have no idea what they're doing. But regardless if the handler is aware or not on what they are and what they're doing, it's on you to see them for who they are and to take action. So I want you to think, who around you or who has been around you that fits this description?
At ease, brothers. Dr. Umar Johnson is a modern day slave handler. In other words, he is in position, whether he knows it or not, to keep his own people from walking in their highest authority. He's a modern day slave handler, whether you love him or hate him. That's what he is. But to be honest, I don't think he knows it. Let me first get that brother his flowers. Because Dr. Umar is an amazing brother. Let's keep it 100, right? You know, when I sit back and think about the, people that are the pioneers in their industries or marketplaces or whatever, he's definitely one of those guys. He's definitely one of those men that will be spoken of after he's gone. Hands down, right? Like when I sit back and just observe the world, like for example, if I take an Elon Musk, like after we're long gone, Elon Musk will still be placed in the conversations of the Edisons and the Albert Einsteins and the Nikola Tesla. He's going to be in that conversation for a long time. Dr. Umar is going to be in the conversation with the Marcus Garveys and he's going to be there. He's put the work in. He's applied the effort. He's done the things. He's still doing the things that puts him in that spot, as he should be. And I'll even come to the brother's defense on something. Like a lot of people want to shame Dr. Umar for example, this school. They say he's been building this school for 10 years or 15 years and it still ain't doing this. My thing is this. I've never built a school. I've never opened a school in my life. So I have no idea how much red tape is around opening a school. There may be signatures he had to get from governors or so. I have no idea. So I have no skin in the game. I've never opened a school, so I don't know what it takes. So I'm not going to get online and bash him for not opening a school. Second, I don't feel like anybody that either hasn't opened a school before or hasn't donated 1 cent towards his school should say anything. If you aren't donating towards his school, you don't have any skin in the game. So why are you complaining about his school not opening? If anything, let's say the school never opens, because I don't know the current status of it. Let's say the school never opens. At least that brother has planted the seed where the generation behind us can say, you know what? We need to build schools, or we need to finish that mission, which a lot of people aren't doing. Nobody's really building schools, So I'll come to his defense and say at minimum that brother is moving in that direction. I'll even come to his defense and say, I've seen people talk about, he talks about black culture so strong and he talks about the love of black women and all this stuff, but he's creating single mothers in the world. I believe he has 2 or 3, I'm not sure, children by 2 different women that happen outside of marriage. And a lot of people want to shame him for that. I have no skin in that game either. I would even go as far to say that just looking at how Brother Omar, how he moves, how he operates, his love for self, his passion about the community, I just can't see that brother being a bad father. So regardless of that brother's situation, man, I'll say I'll be willing to bet. If I was a betting man, I'll be willing to bet that Brother Omar is a solid father, right? My problem with brother Omar though is he's actually keeping his people from winning. He's actually keeping his people from walking in their highest authority. In his mind, he thinks that he has a legion of people behind him, supporting him, and he's sitting there screaming at the quote unquote oppressor, some let my people go type energy. But in reality, that's not what's happening. In reality, he has his back to his quote unquote oppressor, and he's actually holding his people back from walking in authority. He's a gatekeeper. He's a gatekeeper, man. He's a handler. He's in that spot to keep black people in a certain state of mind. And again, I don't think he consciously is aware of that. What do you mean, Soul? Dr. Umar is holding people back? What say you, Soul? Think about it, man. I live in Texas. I'm down here in the South. Pretty much spent my whole life in the South in some way, right, or some location. When I look at the Hispanic community, right, I can remember some years ago, back when I was a younger man, and people were raising hell about, oh, well, they're crossing the border, or oh, they're taking jobs, and oh, they're doing this. Over the last couple of decades, the Hispanic community has just been quiet and just had been building. You come to Texas, man, they have some of the largest businesses. You go look at Mario Sancola Construction Company, one of the largest construction companies in Texas, doing huge projects. They're lawyers and they're doctors right now. You know what I'm saying? My landscaper has $1 million landscaping company. That's just how they're moving. That's how they're moving. You look at the Asian community. I can go right now. I can go down to Carrollton, Texas, right here in the Metroplex. I can go to Carrollton, Texas, man, and find whole communities where all the restaurants, all the clothing stores, or just symbols I can't even pronounce. They're written in either Chinese or Japanese. I don't know what that is, man. But those people are just so loving. They're saying, hey, come in and experience our culture. Come in and eat our foods. Come look at our clothes. Like you're welcome to come here. It's all love. Even the Indian community. Like I would say easily that 65 or 70% of my neighbors, my neighborhood is Indian people. And when I talk about the Indian community a lot, man, it looks like the black community in the 80s. You have all biological mothers and fathers. You have all the little kids playing in the yard. It's just a different look. You have grandparents living in, help raise. It's a beautiful thing to watch. But they've come over here over the last years and just built success. Again, they have many businesses and all these things. In other words, none of these other communities, none of these other cultures are moving like a lot of us are moving. What makes them different, Soul? What are you saying? One thing that makes them different is they have no oppressors. They have no oppressors. They aren't out here, marching across Selma and picketing and all this stuff for a cause. They aren't moving like that. They're simply moving in their highest authority. They're simply walking in the image of God and doing what they have to do. They have no oppressors. But our leaders, our Dr. Umars, and I'm using Dr. Umar, but there are 1 million Dr. Umars. They're living under the jurisdiction of we have an oppressor, and that's holding us back. Think about this, man. Our leaders are using words like white supremacy. Brothers, do you understand how ignorant of a phrase that is? That is the most ignorant phrase that I can even think of. Let me say this. For racism to exist, brothers, let me just break it down like this. For racism to exist, it has to be agreed upon by two parties. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. For racism to exist, it has to be agreed upon by two separate parties. Let me say it like this. In other words, let's say this. Let's say if an alien or a Martian, a 7-foot green alien came and landed, in on the U.S. soil, right? And got out of his aircraft and said, you know what? I am this and I am a supreme being. Every single person on the planet will be like, oh, this brother is just delusional. He's ignorant. But for me, if I sit there and say, oh, that's jacked up, it's alien supremacy. What I'm saying is I'm agreeing that you're better than me. I'm agreeing to what you're saying. Because now I'm combating you on it. Oh, you're wrong. You're alien supremacy, alien supremacy. That means I agree on it. Nobody else has agreed to that but us. Nobody else has agreed to that. When a person uses that word or uses that phrase, what they're saying is, I'm agreeing that that person is better than me. The brother on Joe Budden's podcast a few days ago tried to check Omar on that. Because Omar said, well, why don't you have a black queen? Like why are you dating or married to a non-black sister? And the brother said, well, man, I dated a sister before, man, and it didn't work. He said, why didn't you get another one? He said, I dated another sister and it didn't work. Why didn't you get another one? He said, I dated another sister and it didn't work. And I just crossed paths with a non-black sister, fell in love, and that's where it went. And he said, well, so you done got your degree. This is what Umar said. Umar said, you done got your degrees. You done got this. You done got a bag. And now you think you're better because you went and got a non-black woman. And the brother said, like, I never said that. Like I never said that I was better because of this. But then the brother said, due to the fact that you said it, due to the fact that since I'm moving a certain way and now I got a certain type of woman, you think that because apparently you think I'm better. So apparently you think this other race is better. It's a mentality. If that same man would have went and married the darkest chick in the backwoods of Zimbabwe or whatever, even though she's out of the country, no one would say, oh, you think you're better because you went outside and dated this. But when a person says white supremacy and talks all this crazy stuff, what they're really saying is, I think this person is better than me, better than us. It has to be agreed upon. It's a mindset. And when you think about that, even when he talks about relationships and how everybody else is over there, it really goes against his argument, because his argument is really about keeping the money, pretty much keeping the bag in the black community. He even made a very disrespectful comment about Kobe Bryant's wife, saying, you know what, Kobe's jacked up because he went and married this non-black woman. Now you have all these millions, possibly even billions of dollars going towards somebody that's outside of the black community. And it's like, how many people do you know that are inheriting money and going out and building schools, going out and building certain type institutions or putting money in community centers? Like most people, period, of any race, get a lump sum of money. All they're doing is going to buy more Mercedes, more Cadillacs, and more Gucci bags. So that argument is not even a real argument. But when I heard Dr. Umar, when I think he's about to wake up, because he made a statement talking to this same brother about marrying a non-black sister. He said, I went to white school. I went to another white school. I went to worked in corporate America, made white America all this money, and I never married a non-black sister. And when you think about it, that goes against his whole argument. It goes against his whole argument, because his whole argument is, man, I'm worried about a non-black sister getting $15,000, $20,000 in reserve life insurance and putting it somewhere else, where he's probably spent, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars on education in a white institution. He's a brilliant man, smart man. So no telling how many millions of dollars he's made companies in this white corporate America he talks about. So is it really an economic thing? Because you could have easily got these degrees at HBCUs. Easily. So it's really just a lot of gibberish. It's really just a lot of gibberish, man. And the thing that really irritates me about the Umars and other people that preach his same narrative, like when I say he's a gatekeeper, he's keeping people from walking in that true authority. Like we all talk about when the Bible says, is it not written that ye are gods, or are we not built in the image? A man can't walk in his God authority and see anything outside of himself. He can't walk in his God authority and have any oppressors. He can't have anybody again. He can't have any competition. Like what is there to compete with when I consist of everything? To walk in your God authority first, brothers, you got to understand, it means that there is nothing outside of me. Nothing outside of me. If you once man cuts himself in half, I'm a Democrat, I'm Republican, I'm Blood, I'm Crip, I'm this, I'm that. He sliced himself in half. He no longer has the ability to walk in his God authority. I've talked about this for years, brothers. You got all these conscious people walking around talking about, yeah, I'm walking my God authority, but hate the brother across the gun line. Hating this brother, hating this sister, hating other genders. When you're really hating yourself. I talked about this in A Singular Truth. Think about this. It says this. After death, many will be surprised to discover that Martin Luther King Jr. and Adolf Hitler reside within the same energy. That the singers of gospel music are eating at the same table as the singers of death. And that George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin are both the same person. All is one. The common mind could never reside in this mental space, for it reveals too much about a source that contradicts the limits that his world has instructed him to have in place. You can't walk in your authority talking about white supremacy, because what you're saying is, I am not that, and there is someone greater than me. Greater than me, man. That's one of the most ignorant words. Let's look at the definition of white supremacy. Think about what I'm saying, brothers. White supremacy. The belief that white people constitute a superior race and should therefore dominate society, typically to the exclusion or detriment of other racial or ethnic groups. Key words, the belief. Again, it has to be agreed upon. So again, I know Dr. Umar thinks he's leading the pack going towards an oppressor in his head, but he's actually doing the opposite. He's actually saying by teaching my people that everything doesn't exist in them, that everybody, I don't care if they're across the water praying a different way, wearing different clothing, if they're a different shade of brown, a different shade of white, a different shade of tan, if they speak a different language, they're me. They're me. How can a God have an oppressor? How can a God have anything outside of him? But I truly believe Umar is about to step into that, man. I saw that brother pause for a minute after he was saying a few things. I think he's thinking about it. I think he's thinking about that, thinking about his overall mission is not what he thinks it is. Once he steps into that fullness, he'll be a threat. I'm gonna say that again. Once Dr. Umar steps into his fullness, steps into that full awakening, walks in his God authority, brother, he's going to be a threat. He's going to be a threat to those powers that be, those races, whatever. He's going to be a threat to that agenda. It's happened before. Look at Malcolm. Look at Martin. What do you think happened to them? Malcolm X was parading around for years, giving the same rhetoric, this man is this and yada, yada, yada. It wasn't until Malcolm went to Egypt or took his pilgrimage and he said, hey, brothers, I had it wrong. Like, I understand that there is nothing outside of me now. I can work with my brothers. I can work with my sisters because they are me. The wrong ears heard that and said, oh man, he's a threat now. He has too much information now. With all his knowledge, with all his research, with all his degrees, with all this stuff, now he knows who he is. Well, we got to take him out. We have to take him out now. Think about Martin, the same thing. Martin did all this marching and preaching on sidewalks and all this stuff. But if you research and find the sermons from Martin Luther King that really aren't public, he was speaking that same narrative. All is one. There is nothing outside of me. Martin probably preached on 1 million balconies. Why that one? He was a different being. He was walking in a different authority. He was a threat to that overall agenda. He was about to wake his people up. So all I'm saying is this, man. Like it's too late in the game for us to still be operating like we have an oppressor. To still be operating under this white supremacy agenda. Like it's so rudimentary at this point. And just all we have to do is look around us. There are people that are thriving. There are people that are operating that aren't pointing the finger or marching behind this invisible boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? We just have to wake up, brothers. And the thing is, there are a million slave handlers. There are some that are in the pulpits. There are some that are in politics. But brothers, we have to wake up from that.